My name is Brian Patrick Corrigan. I'm a chiropractor in Jersey City. I'll be running the meeting. It's the self-centered meeting. The way it works is you have 3 minutes to come up here and say whatever you like. Just don't curse or insult anyone. That's all we ask. And then after you speak, people have 3 opportunities to ask you something. And during that time, you only ask the person. If you have a point of information or a statement, I'm going to cut you off and tell you, you can, that's only to come up here and speak. So we only ask the people something, because there's an art form to asking people something and an art form to answering things, and you have 2 minutes to answer all 3. So you keep everything brief with a yes, no, I don't know, or a very brief explanation. I'll run the meeting. Just let me run it. It'll be nice and smooth. And tonight's featured speaker is Mark Johnson. So he'll be up here at the end. So, and people from Zoom, you can join us as well. So whoever would like to come on up, just come on up. All you gotta do is raise your hand. All right, if no one wants to go, then the job of the moderator. Oh, Edward X. Young, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi there, this is Edward X. Young. Good to see you, Bob, the Crystals. Good to see you there. I'll have to get you in my car and bring you out here. I do make it here whenever I can. I almost didn't make it tonight because I was in Parsippany working on a horror movie. As you know, I act in those, and I'm a little embarrassed. I can't get the stains off my hands. But this isn't blood, it's just makeup. But it was a rough day. I had to cut out somebody's heart. And then when it was all over, I realized I had time to make it here. It'd be a good place to go to relax and wind down. And I don't have a date for Valentine's weekend anyhow. But I always feel wonderful being here with family and friends. And it was tough making it into Manhattan. I don't know why it was tough getting into the city from New Jersey, why anybody was going in there, but I got through and I made it here. And I'm happy to be here. I don't know what else to add right now.
Wow, Edward X. Young. Would anyone like to ask Edward X. Young anything? Anyone?
Oh, Bob.
Bob Crystal.
Yes.
Edward, what's the name of this new movie?
The Mortician's Apprentice.
Anyone else? Alex.
Is it uplifting?
Well, if you're into that kind of stuff, I suppose it is. It's a horror comedy. It's a horror satire.
What's the plot?
It involves a mortician's academy where nefarious things take place. Some of the morticians there are engaging in experiments to bring back the dead as puppets, so to speak.
Anyone else like to ask Edward X. Young anything? How did you find out about Self-Centered the first time you came here?
Mr. Crystal. Yes, I'll have to come to see you soon at your place. Yes, I was having some severe trouble with my back and losing feeling in my fingers and other problems, and I was recommended. What was his name? Your son's friend? I forget. We worked at the same company, and he recommended I try out chiropractic. And then
Michael Keys.
What's his name?
Michael Keys.
I think so. Yes. No, not Mike Keys. The other guy who knows Mike Keys.
Anyway.
Regardless, I was going to see Bob for a while and having some great success. I never had to get back surgery. And one day, we used to have long discussions. I was usually the last person there, but Bob invited me to come out here. Said I should meet this remarkable man, Pasquale. That he'd be somebody that I'd be very glad I met. And I am glad. And still coming back here.
All right, Ed, thanks for starting. Edward X. Young, everybody. All right.
Very good to see you.
Like I said, Bob, this is my COVID look.
All right, control yourself. Now, sit down.
Don't make Brian throw anybody out tonight.
He's the only guy you got to keep an eye on. Now, the floor is open. Whoever would like to come up, all you got to do is raise your hand or tell us from Zoom World. Sevilla, mira.
Right.
Let me get out of your way.
Hi, Sevilla Mendez, chiropractic supporter / part-time secretary, only on Thursdays. Just really quick, so I'm homeschooled, and lately we've been doing a devotional every day where we read something from the Bible, and one of the things we did about last week, I think, we read from it, it said, I used to think that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us and we change things. And I just thought that was interesting because it kind of relates to chiropractic a lot. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because that's what you guys do at Self Center. You come up here and you share things. It doesn't even have to be related to chiropractic. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Brian, you can come up now.
Hey, you don't boss me around. Go ahead, Mark.
How old are you?
11,
See?
almost 12.
Anyone else like to ask Sevilla anything? Hey, prediction?
Have you always been homeschooled, or is it a
Yeah,
result of? Oh, really?
always.
It has something to do with COVID.
No, my whole life.
Victoria?
Who said that? Who said what you read?
Well, it was from the Mother Teresa book. Do something beautiful for God. Yeah. It didn't say, did it? No, it was like a quote. Yeah. Definitely Mother Teresa book.
One more for Sevilla. Anyone else? Anyone? Gracias, Sevilla. Excelente.
Come on, Bill.
All right, the floor is open for whoever would like to come on up. Anybody?
I'll go right.
All right, Victoria, come on up.
I'll follow that now. So. All right. Tori Mendez. Hello, everyone. So, chiropractic wife and proud mom. Just a moment ago, I'd like to know that some of my stuff is getting through. So last time, Brian had kind of relayed some information for Sarah last month about this concept of trauma and how sometimes our mothers or grandmothers, the trauma that they carry can actually affect us because, grandmothers have all the eggs that they're ever going to carry, and then, those eggs are you. And you have your eggs already, which just kind of made my mind explode a little bit. But it got me kind of thinking about this concept of trauma, and I've been wanting to read this book, The Body Keeps the Score, for some time. And it just has to do with about how trauma from other people and how it affects you, but also not just, you think emotionally you're dealing with it or mentally you're dealing with it, but how it actually physically manifests in you. And it's not just this one time thing, right? So this trauma happens, and they say, we have learned that trauma is not just an event that took place sometime in the past. It is also the imprint left by the experience on the mind, brain, and body. The imprint has ongoing consequences for how the human organism manages to survive in the present. So I found this fascinating. I've only read 3 chapters so far, but he talks a lot about how we're drawn to this physical, what we do, and we're not even conscious of it. What we do physically with our body in order to process these types of pain. So I'll keep you updated and let you know, but so far it's a highly recommend, and that's all I have to share right now.
Anyone else want to ask Victoria anything? Anyone? If someone on Zoom, you guys tell me. Go
Can you
ahead.
repeat the name of that book, please?
Sure, it's The Body Keeps the Score.
Who wrote it?
Bessel van der Kolk, Kolk, MD.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, the floor is open. I mean, who would like to ask Victoria anything? Everybody,
I was wondering which church you go to.
I go to, it's called Christ Central. It's actually a church plant. We're a baby church and we're trying to grow. Some people that we know came from the United Kingdom, and then some other people came from New Hampshire, and they're starting this church. So
Where's it located?
it's located in Bay Ridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else like to ask Victoria anything? Anyone? How does that book have you, just the title alone, what do you think of that?
Well, I guess as somebody who's had a mother and a father who has experienced trauma, and then, you know, me myself having life experiences, I just think it's really interesting. For one example he mentioned was how a lot of times people are drawn to instruments or like this physical act of drumming, and I just found that fascinating because my mom has always loved the drums, and for somebody that, you know, experienced what she did, not having a voice, but these loud drums, you know, kind of replaced that for her in some way. I just think that it's fascinating to learn about the mind and the body.
All right, Victoria, thank you very much. Excellent. All right, very good. Moving along smoothly. All right, the floor is open. Whoever would like to come up. Well, if someone, I'll watch here. If someone from Zoom, you guys tell me, okay? Anyone? If no one is, then I'll go. That's one of the jobs of the moderator. You got to jump in. So, Brian Patrick, Court and Chiropractor, Jersey City, New Jersey. I've been thinking about Pasquale. I was talking about how he had the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. And that winter season was destructive. Things have to break down. But he's like, that season is now over. He spoke about the ingathering. That's only 3. It goes spring, summer, autumn, right back to spring again. No winter season. And I believe that's where we are right now. And when we do that, all this stuff inside of us, we had to take on certain parts to survive that winter season. Now it's over, we don't need those parts anymore. So that stuff's going to start to come out of us. You can call it a purification, a detoxification, whatever it is you want to call it. And I believe that's what's going on right now. You want to call it a pandemic, you want to call it for this, call it whatever you like. It's a big, huge purification. And the people I noticed that are resistant, which means to stand back, they don't want to change. They don't want to move forward. They're hanging on to that debris, hanging on to that pain and anger and fear. They're the ones who are really getting sick and really having a problem. And chiropractic helps people relax. It helps them feel safe to work through whatever to realize, all right, I'm going to just work through this. I'm going to work through it in small sequential steps. And chiropractic's so beautiful to watch people go through this, because the people who come in on a regular basis, they realize, maybe whether they realize it or not, it's helping them get through this. It's helping them realize this is now the ingathering. There's no more winter season. We're just spring, summer, autumn, back to spring again. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And it's a spiritual revelation that we're watching people go through. So I don't get caught up in the arguments about it's this or that. It's to me, that doesn't help me. I'm just focused on, I gotta help myself, and whoever else, if I can help someone else, that all the people come to me, I do the best I can for them. But it's their decision, and there's no judgment. I love them, whatever they want to do, that's okay with me. So, I'll end it at that. Anyone want to ask me anything? Nancy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to know if you feel that the debris, that debris that's being dissipated, do you feel that that's only from one lifetime, or do you feel that it is accumulated from multiple traumas and experiences from prior lives as well?
Yeah, it's everything. It's from multiple lives. It's like that's all trapped in people's auras. I told you that story, this guy broke his leg in the beach in Hawaii. This lady came out. Next thing you know, he's walking around fine. They said, how'd you help him? She goes, I took the aura with the broken leg and threw it away. And now he has the aura of a sound body. And I think Pasquale would always say, self-centered has passed over karma. It's helping us get rid of all that debris in our aura that's holding us back and just throw it away. So yes, Nancy, I do think it's from multiple lives, and we're at the time now where we can do it. And for me, chiropractic helps me do that. Anyone else want to ask me anything? One more time, anyone? Mark.
Pasquale always spoke about the winter was the resting time. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Well, it's the time of digestion. Like the snow on the ground, the leaves fall off the tree, the snow comes down. The world's underneath all that snow and everything. It's digesting all that material, digestion. But it's a breakdown. You can call it catabolism. You want to use a fancy word. But now it's time for another fancy word, anabolism, to build up. We've broken down all the stuff we had to break down. Now it's time to build up. And that's one of the other things he said. We don't need to break things down anymore. Let's just be. Be still and know that I'm God. Anyone else want to ask me anything? Yep.
Thanks, Ken.
Go ahead.
So, chiropractic adjustments breaks the debris up, Pasquale said.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks the debris in the neurological system. And for the purpose of?
Well, it breaks up in your entire body for the purpose of the debris is really all that stuff Nancy mentioned, all the multiple traumas, the pain, stuff that people just don't want to get rid of, that they don't allow themselves to work through. It allows them to get rid of it. And that's how I look at it. And that's freedom. All right, so that's it for me. So, for me. It's wild. Look at Ed with that stuff on his hands. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else want to come up? All you gotta do is raise your hand. Alex.
Hey everybody, Alex Wilkovitz, chiropractor in Pennsylvania. Talking about getting rid of debris about a month ago, I was really quite sick. I don't know specifically what was really going on, but I had like the worst fever of my life. I was like really, really burning up, but some rough days. But after that, you know, I think it is possible maybe some stuff fell away, which is a good feeling. Lately, I've had a lot of people coming back that I haven't seen like in a while, whether it's a year or a few years, to the office, and it's kind of neat. A lot of really special, awesome people. So it's made the office just, I think it's like a pretty cool place most of the time. It's been even better in a lot of respects. It's just a very nice energy. It's pleasant to be there. It's nice having a day when you're there and you don't really have a chance to sit down. You don't have a chance to doodle or, I don't know, watch some video online. So it's just nice when you can be focused on what you're doing and really be in the moment and just let it go over you and under you. It's a special time, and it's nice too that the weather lately has been a little milder, so it's just pleasant to look out the window, go for a walk, a little jog. That's about it.
Anyone else? Anyone like to ask Alex anything?
Whereabouts in Pennsylvania do you live again?
It's a town called Bloomsburg. It's about 75 miles west of the Delaware Water Gap, off 80.
Are you driving back tonight?
Yeah.
Good to drive.
It's not too bad.
Right.
At night, once you get away from like Newark, it's pretty easy.
75 miles past the water gap.
Yeah.
Across
So like to know, maybe 2.5 hours when I leave Jersey City. It's not bad.
God, that's great.
Anyone else like to ask Alex anything? Anyone? One more time, anyone? Tori.
What's your favorite food at the Bloomsburg County Fair?
Well, it's a state fair.
State fair, excuse me.
Because that's supposedly the biggest fair in the state. And to some people, it's the most amazing week of the year. There are actually people that take off the entire week just to go to the fair and eat and look at animals and play games. But I would say, I think it depends on my mood, but Most of the time, maybe a fried Twinkie. It's a good health food.
I never even heard of that. All right. Anyone?
Yes, when is that? I hear about the Bloomsburg fair all the
I
time.
forget how they calculate when it is, but it's usually like the last week in September, maybe into early October.
Trying to make it this year.
It's
Like
usually
yours.
it's that time of year when you never know what the weather could be. It could be 100 degrees, it could be like snow, it could be a flood.
I'll let you know if I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
sure.
and maybe meet up there. I've heard about it so many times over the years. I've been eager to check it out.
And I have some people that come into the office, sometimes they give me free tickets to
Bob
get in.
Crystal has a question.
Bob,
Did you live there your whole life?
for the most part, you know, I went to school in upstate New York, and I worked in DC for a while, but I kind of went back and forth. So it's been for the most part. You ever been out?
Go ahead. Thanks.
Have I been out?
Yeah, have you ever been to like that part of Pennsylvania?
The other side of Brooklyn.
Driven through it more than I could say I spent time in it. It sounds
Yeah.
nice though, nice and quiet.
It can be.
All right. I'm sorry about that. I had to.
Okay, thank you.
And someone came the first time. They went to the 31st Street, on the other side, like we won't get into Jersey, Brooklyn geography, but they're here now. Okay, the floor is open. Whoever would like to come up. Don Fernando.
Alright, greetings everyone. Fernando Mendez, chiropractor, Brooklyn. So I was involved with Tori's church group the other night at the men's club. They had a book they were reading, and we got to a chapter, and the title was about comparison. There wasn't much to learn, I thought, from the book, except the quote on the first quote. It just said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And that was the best part of the whole chapter, I thought. But then they had one of the guys read part of it, and it was a part of the Bible. I guess after I wouldn't know all the details, but we talked about it. You know, Peter denied Jesus. He went off. I guess he went back to fishing, and then Jesus showed up and was like, "Who do you love more?" He just asked him, "Who do you love more, this or me?" So the whole chapter was about not comparing things. And there was a lull. We were going to start talking about the book, and nobody said anything. And I said, "Well, Jesus right there is asking them to compare, you know?" So it kind of shocked the group. And then I said, comparison's not the worst of all things. I mean, when I was a young chiropractor, and I couldn't really do anything, I go, well, if that guy could do it, I could probably do it. I got to keep going at this. So the point was, not that the chapter was wrong, but I said there's a right time to do the right thing, a time for everything. And I learned that in my office because once you start getting busy, people come in and I want to take care of them. Self-centered style, the way I learned down here. And I had occasion where these people came in, they were new patients. The husband was in terrible pain with his neck. He got on the table, and his neck really exploded, and you could just tell the relief. I was so happy for him. And his wife was sitting there, and I could tell she, when you adjust somebody and the person who's watching is like, huh, huh. So she got on the table with a bat. She said, "My ankle hurts." I looked at her ankle. I did a good job on there. And then the husband's like, "Yeah, your back is, you always complain about your back." So I said, "Let's look at your back." So I was taking care of her back. I went through the mid-back. Then we got her face up. And there I go with my cervical adjustment. Boom, boom. And she goes, "Oh, I think you pulled a muscle in my neck." And I said, "What was I thinking?" This lady came, and I've learned this over the years, but I guess I had to learn it again of just going, it's the right thing at the right time, I know I want to give it to her. I know the cervical adjustment's going to help her with her ankle. But it was so much for this lady. I overwhelmed her. And I think about these quotes from Pasquale. He said, people will come in saying all these kinds of things, just take care of them. And that's what I try to do. I just say, "Oh, okay. They tell me, don't crack me too hard, don't do this." And I go, I'm going to do what I got to do in my head, because that's the only way we're going to move forward. I can't be doing what you tell me to do, because we're going to get nowhere. But he also said, don't be a bull in a china shop. And that was probably the case with that woman. I gave her too much of a good thing. So that is what I just have to say.
All right. Anyone ask Don Fernando anything? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone else?
How'd she come back?
It's still, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. They were pretty excited. Like she said, I'll be back next week. So we'll see. It's only been a few days.
All right. Anyone else want to ask Fernando anything? Bob?
Oh, we lost.
Wait, I know. Mute yourself.
I was just giving a thumbs up on that response, that's all.
All right. Anyone else want to ask Fernando anything? One more time, anybody? All right, gracias. And just, I'll give a real quick how we do things here. You have 3 minutes to say whatever you like. Just don't curse or insult anyone. And then people get to have the opportunity to ask you things, and you have 2 minutes to answer, so keep your answers brief. All right, so the floor is open for whoever would like to come up. And by the way, at these meetings, you don't have to be a chiropractor. Anyone's welcome, and anyone's welcome to come up and speak.
Since
Come on, Rebecca.
Sorry for walking and late
Yeah, you're not the first person, you're the 31st. Just tell us your name.
I'm Rebecca. I'm a newer chiropractor, and I actually found Brian and Sarah, just thank goodness for Google, I guess, sometimes. And I went to Life West in California, and I find that over these years I've been in some practices, I've gotten some experience, and I haven't been too thrilled. And I love chiropractic. I thought if there's something I'm doing for the rest of my life, it's chiropractic. And I feel the practices I've been in and the people I've been surrounded by, I've had to be a people pleaser in a sense, where I do ask if people are comfortable with the noises, and I tiptoe, and rather than going with my gut and what I believe is true chiropractic in my opinion, and where I can serve and be who I am, is more adjusting from what I've learned chiropractic was founded on. So I feel I've been tailoring myself, and so I'm nervous because I'm opening up something in a few weeks and it's so scary. So, just being honest, and that's kind of what I got, yeah.
That's a lot. You gotta hang on. Don't run. Anyone ask Rebecca anything? Edward X. Young.
Had you known about or heard about Pasquale before you came here?
No, not before, not until.
You're coming out of the camera field.
Oh, come over here. All right.
Bob,
So no, I had
Nancy have a question.
We'll go with Nancy, then we'll go with Bob.
Hi, I just want to say congratulations. How wonderful. And God bless chiropractors, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for chiropractic. But I wanted to just say to you that have you discovered and explored the spiritual dimension of chiropractic? Because you don't have to worry about courage if you know that if you're spiritually really connected.
And I think that's something.
That's little Jackie.
That's something that I think is why I felt so called to leave where I'm at now and take this huge risk, which is not really a risk because it's who I am. So I think I'm finally like awakened. Something just kind of clicked the other day and I said I'm leaving my job and I'm just going for it with full support of all my family and friends. So yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
It's gonna be great.
Thank you.
So where you are now still, is it that the people are requiring you to act that way you were talking about?
Yes, I feel I was told right away, based off of my philosophies and beliefs, that I needed to keep those quiet and that I shouldn't speak my truth because it's not what our clientele is wanting to hear. So right away I felt I stepped into a place where they said, you can't be who you are. Who you are is wrong. And so for 3 months I've been battling with that kind of sense of why, you know, questioning why I even bothered to move to where I just did, and then something just, an opportunity presented to leave this place, and it just feels so right, just a little scary.
We got one more for Rebecca, anyone. Phil Bracco.
Thank you.
Phil.
Where are you going to open up your office?
Merrimack,
Wait,
up in Westchester.
You got the young lady Seville. Go for one more.
Where did you go to chiropractic school?
Life West in California. Yeah.
All right, Rebecca, fantastic. And I take care of her brother and her sister-in-law.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Phil Bracco.
Hi everybody, good to see you. Phil Bracco from Staten Island. You know, that struck a chord in me, and I just wanted to say that you don't have all the answers as you open up your office. You know, no one has all the answers, but being aware is really the key, and you're aware of what's going on while you're working now, and you can erase that, right? And you could make it be you, because right now it seems like you're trying to be somebody else, and it's not agreeing with you. That's just my opinion. You know, that's how I see it. So the greatest thing that you could do in your office is be yourself. That's the greatest thing. And you will have people come because you are you and not somebody else.
Thank you.
Good for you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to say was everything happens for a reason. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that, you know, with this whole outside world that's going on and all the things that are happening to people, it seems like little by little, freedom has been being taken away from Americans. And I mean, just in general, you know, like firearms and decisions on what you have to do with your health, and you can't make a decision for your health any longer, and all the things that go along with the whole thing and this whole situation. So a lot of times people didn't realize, I think, that all that was happening in the past, but it was already happening. It's just that we didn't have it hit us in the face. So I think what I'm trying to say is that if everything happens for a reason, like this whole COVID thing is happening for a reason, because just throwing some things at you, they reported so many millions of people had died, and then people started investigating that. When they said millions of people died, everybody said, oh my God, millions of people died, or 1 million people died from COVID. And then they started to investigate it. Well, some people just died, and some people died of numerous different reasons, and so on and so forth. And it wasn't really the COVID that killed them. I was watching a TV report, and they had this medical examiner in Florida, and he said the guy on the motorcycle was killed because he got into an accident. He had COVID. So it made people start to question the ethics of these things. So if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be questioning things now. We wouldn't be trying to fight mandates now. People are getting involved. See what's happening in Canada. So Pasquale used to say, first earth and then heaven. So it's got to take place first here. And I think that everything is falling into place just the way it's supposed to be, because things are going to change, and things are changing more rapidly now than ever before.
Anyone like to ask Phil anything? Anyone? Let me stand over here so I can see everyone. Anyone? Mark.
If you had to be powerfully strong in one thing that helped you in your practice, what could you tell a new chiropractor, what's the most important thing?
I just told her. I told her to be yourself.
Okay. Above that,
Beyond that,
above and beyond.
you have to be yourself so that that greatest expression that comes through you can flow right through you and into your patients.
Anyone else want to ask Phil anything? Anyone? One more time, anyone? All right, Phil. Excellent. The floor is open. As Stanley Alberg used to say, an old-time chiropractor, graduated in 1951, he says, "Who you are speaks so loudly, you don't even have to say a word."
And that's true.
And Stanley used to always say that. All right, the floor is open. Anyone from the Zoom world want to jump in? Go ahead. A lot of us here have spoken. I think everyone here spoke except for Hugo. And Jack, he spoke earlier. He was yelling while Rebecca was up there.
See the baby. Show the baby.
Oh wait, he's so relaxed. I'm gonna leave him alone.
I thought you let sleeping
Yeah.
dogs.
All right,
sleeping
now
babies
anyone
lie.
else? You don't have to. By the way, you don't have to speak. But that's another thing. I'm not here to bully people. You want to talk, you talk.
Okay, Bob.
Bob, go ahead.
We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
Bob Crystal, Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Thank you for having the meeting tonight. This is awesome. So, I'll tell you a little story. Some of you may have heard of this before. It's a true story from our history. There's a young boy, his name was Glenn Cunningham. He and his older brother every morning would go to the schoolhouse and light the fire so that when the other students arrived, they came into a warm building. Well, one morning when they went to do that, the can that normally had kerosene in it contained gasoline. And when they struck the match and threw it into the firewood with the gasoline spread all over it, it exploded and killed the older brother on the spot. And Glenn ended up with severely burned legs. And the doctors said to the parents that we should just amputate these legs. He's never probably going to walk again, and that's what we recommend. And young Glenn said, "Please, Mommy and Daddy, don't let them take my legs." And, you know, they listened to him. And you'll find out later that this little boy grew to be a man of faith, and I believe, not only grew to be a man of faith, showed his faith as a little boy. You'll hear why later, but you already probably can hear it now in the story. So Glenn went on to do this. You know, I wish I could tell you, you know, he walked again. But if I was to tell you he walked again, that would be like watering down what he really did. So I'll just tell you this real quick, what he really did. Hold on. Among other things, I won't read the whole thing. In 1934, he set the world record for the mile run at 4 minutes and 6.8 seconds, which stood for 3 years. This was legs that were going to get thrown in the garbage by people who thought they knew and spoke with authority. It's really important not to necessarily listen to that. But, you know, little Glenn listened to his own heart, and he still had his legs, and that's what he did. And did other things here. He he set world records in the 800 meters in 1936, and in the indoor mile in 1938. And there's other stuff too. It just goes on. But what I was saying about the faith is this is something he did. This is something he did every day. He read from I don't have to get you the verse later, so I don't have it on my thing here. He read from Isaiah, I think it was 40 something. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not tire. They will walk and not. They will run and not tire. They will walk and not tire. He said that every single day. Those who wait on the Lord. He knew that it was going to happen. That's all.
Bob, I'm pretty sure that's Isaiah 40:30 to be. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Anyone want to ask Bob anything? Anyone? Well, Bob, what does that mean to you?
Actually, 40:31.
All right. What does that mean to wait?
I just looked it up.
Bob, what does it mean to wait in the Lord? For you, to you, what does that mean?
Well, it reminds me of that famous verse that Pasquale loves so much, and so do I. Be still and know that I am God. You know, don't take it all on your own educated mind and your own feelings. Go for that higher power, that higher source of wisdom and knowledge.
Anyone else want to ask Bob anything? Anyone? If someone from Zoom, let me know. Anyone? One more time? All right, Bob, gracias. Thank you. The floor is open for whoever would like to come up and speak. Or the Zoom world can come and join us. Anybody? If not, we're going to bring up that guy, Mark. So, anyone else want to speak? I don't see any activity.
Come on, Jack.
All right, Mark, come on out.
Mark Johnson, chiropractor, Red Bank, New Jersey. Hi, Nancy. Hi, all. You're from South Carolina, Melissa Crystal. Going to Sherman. I'm very proud of you. I graduated there in 1979. We're fixing to talk about chiropractic tonight, as a Southerner would say it. But I wish everybody could see this room, because this is a historical room where we've had meetings for, God, I've been coming here since about either 1999 or 2000, I was trying to remember, but Pasquale would always have meetings here and we could all come and share, and he always shared his wisdom with us. And me being a chiropractor, going to Sherman College of Straight Chiropractic was my diploma, I never knew the roots of chiropractic other than what we read in Stevenson's book. And I was kind of shocked because last weekend I gave a talk at New Beginnings and I was trying to bring some of the historical part of chiropractic in that most chiropractors don't even know. And I think it's going to help you, Rebecca, because some old timer like me, he was older than me, I'm 66, he was 78, and he gets up and he says, well, you know, chiropractic, what attracted me is that chiropractic's about metaphysical stuff. And you never hear people talk like that, other than Pasquale. It's all the old guys. And these are our roots. So what I'd like to do first is let's play.
But before we start, I'd like to tell you something about the history of chiropractic. Now, in 1995, a man named D.D. Palmer adjusted a janitor who had partial hearing trouble. That is, one ear couldn't hear at all. And after that first adjustment, this man heard. Now, how did D.D. Palmer get this idea of adjusting this patient? First, D.D. Palmer was what was called a magnetic healer. A magnetic healer doesn't mean somebody who's magnets, but one who thinks and believes, and he or she claims that they have proof, that magnetism comes from us. And what they do is let the person lie down, and when this person is lying down who is ill, they would take the hand maybe about 3 or 4 inches away from whatever bothers them, or place that bothers them, and would just gently wave it across, saying that the magnetism from the hands would go into the patient, and the patient would get well. Now, D.D. Palmer was somewhat of an explorer, as my friend and I went exploring all of Mohonk. And he was not too happy with that particular way of adjusting things. So one day, that's a good One day, this particular janitor was standing in a hall with D.D. Palmer and someone else. Let him come up. And someone else. And when the talk was over, D.D. Palmer had a book under his arm, which he was a heavy reader. And he tapped this janitor on the back by saying, "So long." So a few days later, the janitor came back and said, "You know, Dr. Palmer, when you tapped me on the back with that book, I can hear just a little better." And D.D. Palmer said, "Okay, I'll see." Now, D.D. Palmer was a spiritualist. And when I say a spiritualist, it means that this was a type of religion he had. As today we have many different types of religions in a particular Christian era. So he went to his church, and within each spiritualistic church was a medium. And he consulted the medium, and the medium said, "Well, the best I can do is go into a trance, and let's find out what's what." And when the medium went into a trance, voices came out of her, and the voice said, "I am Dr. Atkinson, an MD who has passed away, and what you have done is only a semblance of what you will be doing. And what you will be doing will be to do exactly as I tell you." And he was told what to do through this voice. So D.D. Palmer went back and he put this janitor on the table, and with his hands he gave his first adjustment, and that was September 18th, 1895. Now, as we have a Memorial Day on May 30th, I think we should have a national holiday on September 18th, 1895. Because that was the greatest day that was ever given to mankind. You can mention any other day and I will dispute it with you. That's my opinion. I will dispute it with you. Because there is nothing finer and nothing greater than chiropractic. So when D.D. Palmer gave the adjustment, this man got up and said, "I can hear everything." So D.D. wanted to know what happened. He went back to the medium. And when he went back to the medium, all he got after the medium went into a trance was certain things. "Well, what you did, you gave an adjustment. And there was a transition. And the adjustment you gave it on a subluxation. And there was interference." These are the only things that D.D. was given. So he came back, and with these few words, he was given another thing. And the very basic principle of this whole thing is tone. So he went back and he started working upon these words and started formulating a particular method to administer chiropractic. And from then on, the whole thing just shot out like big flames all over the world. As a matter of fact, all over the United States first. And then it went all over the world.
So now we know that it came from the spirit world chiropractic. I never knew that in Sherman, because I guess it was too spacey even then. But think about it, in 1895, going out and telling your people coming in that, I'm going to adjust your spirit, because that's what we're doing. That's what I want to talk about tonight, is what Pasquale, when he said tone. And that's a very big thing. We all love music, and we used to give lay lectures talking about how the organs in the body were like instruments in an orchestra, and everything is an organized pattern, and that organization has an intelligence that tells it what to do, and everybody plays the instruments perfectly when you're healthy. And I'm sorry I don't know all this stuff with these computers, because when I started, we didn't even have computers. They didn't have them. So we would take paper and write down and explain chiropractic on big charts, and we did great. We had lots of people come in, because like Phil said, just come from your heart and talk about it. So something that I really want to talk about is tone. We got new markers now. And I want to talk about love, which I always seem to talk about in all these meetings, and I never knew why it was so powerful. And Brian kept sending me this video of Pasquale when we used to go away in the mountains and we would have like weekends together. And Brian must have sent this to me for a year and a half.
2 years.
2 years. Okay, probably 2 years, because I'm a thickhead, a stonad, or whatever they call you. Anyway, so Pasquale talked about tone, and he used to talk about us, and he used to say, bring heaven to earth, and earth is going to connect with heaven, because we're all connected that way. So chiropractic seems to have a lot of threes in it. So we have the triune of life, which is Reggie Gold wrote that, and it was intelligence. Pasquale didn't like force, so we're going to put power, and he's right. Power sounds better than you forcing something, and matter. Now, how do these all connect each other? And how does this tone, and what does love got to do with life? We all know love is the highest frequency and vibration on the planet. And if we don't know that, then we better know that, because that's what's going to help us in our life. And then there's 3 different areas in a human. This is your spirit. These are 3 energies that all humans work with. Whether we like it or not, whether you know it or not, you're going to learn it tonight, hopefully. And like Pasquale used to say, don't say you don't understand, because he would image it to you. He would mirror image what he wanted you to know. And we didn't know it at times, and I'm going to show you a little clip of what I said back in the day. But don't say you don't understand, because the frequency is coming to you guys through me anyway. I'm channeling it through. And by the way, we have a great medium in our group, and her name is Nancy, who happens to be here tonight too. So we're very lucky that we have all these components in it, self-centered. So this is the spiritual part of us, spiritual energy. And I'm not going to get too intense into what it is. And later on you want to ask me, I'll tell you. And then we have feeler energy, which is going to be the heart. And then we have doer energy, and that's mind and body. So the intersection point of spiritual energy, heart energy, and mind, body, or doer energy is right here. This is soul. So your soul is the conductor of your life here. We came here to do something. We're on a mission, and we have a passion in our life. So a lot of us are so cool, we love chiropractic, that our passion and our mission are the same thing. And if you're lucky, that happens. Sometimes we're not so lucky and it happens. Anyway, because we're just lucky. And there isn't really a luck, but if you look at the way these energies, if they work in a balanced way, the soul is conducting your life, and usually there's going to be some bumps in the road, but we get them. Me, I had to get my lessons pretty hard sometimes, because I guess they would come at me, they would hit me, and I'd bounce back off of them. So I've been told by Nancy and Brian for maybe 2 years, my knee, I hurt my knee. You got to slow down. I slowed down so much I felt like I was going to be a snail. And I'm thinking, I'm a chiropractor. I have to take care of a lot of people. I have children. I have families. We got pregnant women. I can't slow down like this. But I fought it, and it fought back at me. Recently, I had a bike accident, and I didn't even really realize I had a concussion, which I'm not going to get into. It's not about me. And it slowed me down so much that I was like in a depression. It was so slow, and it freaked me out. But it made me slow down enough to explore this whole thing called tone and love. Because what hit me was, D.D. Palmer said that we come from a spiritual base, and that life's based on tone, and we have tone in us, but it came from a spiritual entity. So God channeled this information to us. This universal intelligence that we have in our philosophy, from above down, inside out, came from a spiritual realm. And we didn't even know about it maybe in the old days, but most of the old-time chiropractors, I call old school, they did know it because they were into metaphysics, and this is a calling. You guys that are doing chiropractic, it's a gift. We're so needed in this time of this craziness going on the planet, and I'm not going to mention the C word because it's too much. And that's the thing Pasquale used to say, don't keep mentioning what you don't want to have show up in your life, because it will show up. And don't be anti that, because you're giving it even more power. So, when I had to slow down, I'm thinking about this whole thing about love, because Brian's been telling me, and I'm a thick head again, that I have to self-love myself. You got to love yourself as a chiropractor, or even as a human being. We need to love ourselves. So this feeler part in here, the heart, they used to say mind, body, spirit. They forgot the feeling part. So the yogis don't forget about the feeling part. They're all about opening heart. I need glasses just lately since I whacked my eyes. They're going to get better. They're already better. But I want to read it right. Namaste translates into, I honor that place in you in which the universe dwells. I honor that place in you which truth, love, peace, and light. When you're in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one. So I started thinking, what's the oneness? Everybody talks about the oneness, how we're anchored to the oneness. And what is this oneness thing? And it hit me when I'm starting to learn to self-love myself, which is hard because when we serve people, we give. And we give ourselves very little. And if there's something you get around tonight, don't be as stubborn as I was. Brian's been telling me, just love yourself, man. Love yourself. I've been trying to find a woman in my life for a long time. And he goes, she's going to come. You got to love yourself because you can't attract her if you don't love yourself. And he's right. So I've been on this journey of a lot of injuries and things, and I've had to do an inner journey. But what hit me the most is when Pasquale was talking about tone, and we have all been looking at this equation of what love is. Love is the tone. Infinite love is the tone that we operate on. The universe works off the highest frequency, the highest vibration is love. So we need to work with that stuff. So can we put that other one on? Me and Pasquale? It's our destiny is to merge with the infinity. So I was thinking about that with the infinity and because the word infinity has always attracted me because it never stops. And last night on the K-Pax movie, I remember it made me think of a guy I met. He was like a Indian perfect master that gave a talk, I don't know, about 12 years ago. And he was talking about Earth. The reason we come to Earth is because there are more enlightened beings outside of this plane of Earth. But the reason we come to Earth is to develop the heart chakra, which is all about love. Because this is the place we got to do it. Or else you'd be at some other planet or whatever. And he says, believe me, there's many smarter people than you got down here on Earth. But he said, Earth is where you develop the love chakra, or your heart chakra. So when I saw that, and I thought of Pasquale and the reason we're all here, I thought the infinite that I was looking at is it's all about infinite love. If we can have that divine infinite love, it's simple. We don't have to worry about, I don't understand all of what Pasquale said today, although I resonate with it. It felt like so real. The vibration, the frequency felt very comfortable. I'm at peace, like Josh said, I feel really peaceful. So I'm not going to disturb myself trying to mentalize this whole aspect of it and explain it in a way maybe that I understand, because I don't know all of that, but I know his frequency and I feel the frequency, and I think that for me it's just go back out and just keep serving like I've always been doing, and I'm on this path and it's just going to continue to become more smooth and more easy for me to deal with, and that's really all I got to say. All right, that was 2007. This is 2022. Look at how many years it took me to get the message. And Pasquale used to say, I went through so much stuff so that you guys don't have to repeat it. Didn't he say that? He said it to us all the time. Don't think too much. Listen to me, you'll get it. And don't say you don't understand, because you're going to pick the frequency up. Just like when you go out and talk to your people, you're giving them your frequency. You can't help but do that. It's coming through you. It's a blessing. That's why we're so lucky. Don't take ourselves so serious, because it's channeling through us. We're really lucky that we've been picked to do this. This is a gift. And I don't think we understand what a gift it is and how powerful we really have. So you leaving your office was perfect, because you weren't supposed to be there. And thank you for bearing your heart, because that's what this is all about. Tone and love is through your heart chakra. That's why it's the middle chakra. You have 3 upper that connect you to the heavens. You got 3 lower that ground you. That heart, we don't think about enough. And it is, the soul is the conductor. Interesting enough, pre-death and after death, when they weigh the bodies, it was 4-ounce difference in weight. So think about 4 ounces of energy is your soul, because the soul doesn't die. Every religion will agree that the soul lives on. Whatever their other beliefs are, that's their beliefs. But how do we connect to heaven? You don't see it. It's very hard. And when I was an altar boy in a Catholic church, when I was a kid, I used to feel really close to God being on the altar. But I felt this distance also. And I've been going back, because Nancy gave me an idea. Go back and think about your roots with Christianity, because I used to be in the Christian and go to the church. I don't go to church anymore. You guys are my church. My church is inside, because I'm always looking outside. And now, being the self-love guy I got to look inside. And thank God, but from that time to now, it just hit me when I was putting this talk together for last weekend, that what's missing is the tone is love. Infinite love. It's not something we have to develop, it's already there. And why do we have to think it's so difficult to give somebody an adjustment? You're pushing love into them. It's easy. And ever since I got that, I can't believe, like you were saying, Brian was saying, Pasquale would put his hands on the bone and they would just like lift away from his hand. Well, I'm experiencing that now, because I got conked on the head. I needed to wake up. So that injury I had actually was trauma, yes, and it was scary to me. And I can laugh about it now, but it wasn't scary, it was depressing. I felt very depressed, and I don't know if you've ever been in a depression, but Rob Crystal and Brian have been adjusting me through this whole time, and thank God they knew what the hell they were doing to help me, because I don't think I'd be out of it now. But by getting chiropractic, it helped me get connected to what? Back to my spirit, back to my heart, back to the love and the tone. So it hit me that a lot of chiropractors don't realize, they think they're doing it, and like, I don't think I did a good adjustment, they're not getting better. Who's getting who better? The body heals itself. The power that made the body heals the body. We're changing the world one spine at a time. All those old sayings are true. They worked in the old days and they work right now. So what we need to really do as chiropractors is feel really gifted that we, number one, are connected. And like Pasquale said, bring heaven and connect to earth. We got heaven here. We don't have to wait till you die. Wake up now and wake the people up with our adjustments. Because when you do actually adjust somebody, you're helping them feel their spiritual energy, which is only 4 ounces, remember, pre-death and after death. So really, what is life in the body? It's that rivulet of energy. BJ says, and here's another root going back, way back in BJ's time. He said, we chiropractors deal with the subtle essence of the soul. Doesn't that sound pretty metaphysical? Did you ever hear that being brought out in school that often? I always saw BJ's poster. I got it in my office. But we deal with the subtle essence of the soul. What is that? What is the subtle essence of the soul? If we're all connected and it's invisible, it's an electrical field. So when you die, it comes out of your body, but it never goes and disappears. And I've been in times when I'm trying to, a patient will ask me a question and I'll say, I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty intense. But I'll get the answer just pop right into me. And I don't know how it happens, but it's the right thing. And I'll say, that's pretty clever. And it came through. We're channeling it. We're channeling this beautiful juice. And the juice is love. Infinite love. And it's so simple because when you go up to a patient and you approach their body, just think about it. And Brian has this gift. And thank God this hit on the head has made me lighten up and I can laugh again about everything. But everything doesn't have to be so intense. It's simple. He can love almost anybody. I mean, a street drunk that maybe somebody thinks is a bum, Brian goes, he's a lovely man. And I used to think, okay, Brian always could see the loveliness in everybody. And I'm starting to see more of the loveliness in everything ever since getting the point is, what's the tone that we have in chiropractic? What's the tone in the body? So go up to the body and you palpate them, or what they were talking about, magnetism. I do it. I just touch the body and I feel like, okay, right here, this is uniform, because probably the human body, unless they're really sick or dying, and some people we're going to be serving are going to be dying. It happens, just like we're bringing people into the planet. We adjust newborn babies. But what you do to that person at the time is just feel over the body, and you'll feel the field. And probably 80% of the body's going to have a uniform tone. So that's the love. Where you feel like it isn't, that's where there's an adjustment needed. So you approach that part, and I've been doing this all week, and it's been really cool. I'm just thinking, okay, if this infinite love is there, it's like a funnel that comes down through the crown chakra, through us, like we say in chiropractic, above, down, inside out. Put your hands on the body and go, if this was my child, and I had to love that child, what kind of love would I feel in my hands at that moment? And then you breathe in, and Pasquale used to talk about breathe in and breathe out, but there's a pause. And in that pause, you just put your hands on them and you just feel the love and just like, just comes through you. You made the adjustment. Because you found where you felt the tone was broken, and it's pretty easy. It's an electrical field. Just do this over your body, and actually imagine that you have the gift already inside of you, because you do. It's just all the crap you learn in school. Technique doesn't mean anything. Believe me, the love does the work. Okay, which is going to bring up 3 other things that I want to do, and then I'll probably wrap it up, because it's another 3 things. And the first thing is your presence is enough. And this was taught to me a long time ago when I did breath work, because I never felt really good about myself. I always wanted to be great at what I did and great as a chiropractor. So I always felt like I was inadequate, put it that way, real simple. So you have to believe that who you are and what you are is good enough, or else because God doesn't make junk. And Pasquale used to say, we're the crown of creation, which we are. So believe yourself, even if you don't get it, just repeat it like a mantra. My presence is enough. That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be stay with your breath. You got to breathe. Because most of us, when we do an adjustment, we're not in that pause. You got to be in the breath. Or you're nervous, or somebody, they're like, I'm dying, my back's killing me, or oh, when you press on them, they're like, you're hurting me. They say human bodies say all kinds of weird things. And even gases release, right? So stay with your breath. And 3, and this I learned 20 years ago, but it just hit me. It all came together to understand this in the last week, is love does the healing. Terrible writing, but. So your presence is enough, stay with your breath, and love does the healing. Pretty simple, right? So why do we complicate it? Why do we have to do this? I mean, I would say whatever technique makes you happy, do it. Because that's where you feel like if you got to get really intense, where it's got to be 13 millimeters this way or whatever, if that is when you're thinking you're loving and serving that patient better, do it, because that's going to help them. I see people just move their hands around people and the whole body makes a change. One day I was not feeling really up energetically, and I was working, and I remember going out to the desk, and my CA says, what the hell are you doing today? And I said, why? People saying, because I was not feeling good. I felt really tired and under the weather a bit. And she goes, no, they're floating out of here. And that hit me. I'm like, you know what? It's not really how we are. It comes through us. It's that love thing. And these are all little signals of you just love what you do and you love the person. So, and the love does the healing. That's all connected to that big tone I was talking about, which really makes sense to me now. How else can everybody and God keep an eye on everybody? It's through the love vibration. The universe, what spins, and probably that ohm that everybody says, the earth axis, that's the sound, that's probably the love vibration. So whether we have 20 subluxations, one whatever you feel, you approach the person with love and just feel that, just do that with your hands, because when he was talking about Dee was a magnetic healer, I find myself doing that and I'm like, right here. And you don't have to think about where you're going to adjust them. The innate in that person connects with your innate. It's going to tell you right here, and you make the adjustment. So it sounds really simple, but it really is simple. And I've been complicated with this whole thing for a long time. And now that I have it, I'm thinking, boy, if I can go back to chiropractors and say, number one, what we do is metaphysical. I don't want to be like a pharmaceutical person. We're not pharmaceutical people. If you want to be on the medical ladder, we're never going to be appreciated for who we are. And we shouldn't do that anyway, because chiropractic came to the planet to save this place. We're saviors, if anything, which sounds like I'm giving myself too much credit, but all of you guys are saviors. And even people I've seen like Mother Teresa, you look at her, these people give love. And how about Amma, right? We went to, she's the hugging saint, and this lady sat for, I was 24 hours to get a hug from her. And we waited in New York City, and I went home one time after 7 hours. The next day, I'm in the office, and I was like, I got to go back. And I get on the train, I go back to the city, and my number was 24 hours later, I got a hug at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember going, oh my God, this lady gave you a hug for about a minute, and she gave you the eye contact and the hug of somebody like an old aunt who hadn't seen you in 30 years. And she did it to everybody, equally, everybody. And to be on that stage and just watch this, and she never even got up to pee. I mean, the lady just did this for 12 hours, easy. Each shift was 12 hours. And I'm like, it's amazing. But then I started thinking about what we do as chiropractors, and we got this information channeled to us. All we got to do is hug people, but how do we hug them? We adjust them. That's simple. Very simple. But we as chiropractors, whatever we want to make it be to you, make it fun, make it happy, connect with yourself, and then love yourself, which took me a long time. I'm 66, man. I hope you guys can get this message sooner and faster than me, because I'm thinking, how many people I could have served in a better way, maybe, but I had to go through this. This was my journey. And Brian says it very clearly all the time. He goes, people have to understand when they come in that their pain is something they got to go through. And we have to go through it. Because usually the pain is in what? The emotion body, the feeler. Not the physical body. The physical body is just a barometer. We feel everything, whether it's mental or emotional or physical or spiritual, even our spiritual energy. And that all has to be in balance if you want the soul, which we came here with, to be the conductor. That's the conductor of the orchestra, the soul. And what does the soul operate on? We're all different, but it operates on what? The infinite love. And that's really all I got to say. Because I could keep going on about it because it's so fun.